Today we are going to build another Genshin Impact character, and it's Dr. Baizhu. Obtaining 100 subscribers is our aim. If the video will be enjoyable to you, be sure to subscribe. Then let's get into it. His elemental burst, which lasts for 14 seconds, is the most crucial skill in his arsenal. When his element burst is active, he will build a seamless shield that will be 250% more effective at absorbing dendro damage. And he will create a new seamless shield every 2.5 seconds. In total, he will create 6 seamless shields in 14 seconds. And it's shield only in name. It can be destroyed by a single slap from slime. Dendro damage and healing are the only effects. In actuality, there is no shield. Once his so-called shield is destroyed or a new shield is produced, it will perform 2 tasks. You will be healed, and the amount of healing depends on Baizhu's maximum HP. The other thing it does is unleash spirit veins that will deal dendro damage, and that damage depends on his maximum attack. At level 8, the amount of total damage his shield can absorb is 1.28% of his maximum health, and it adds 144 more HP to his max HP. It means if you have 1000 HP, your shield absorb will be from 1144 HP. And healing also depends on his maximum HP. It will heal 8.32% of his max HP. Again, his max HP will be increased by 939. His burst has a cooldown of 20 seconds, and it only lasts 14 seconds, and costs 80 energy, so you'll either need a dendro character or an energy recharge weapon for him. As a close combat fighter, he requires that you stay close to your opponents in order to deliver damage. I'll now demonstrate how his burst actually functions. So if you were expecting his shield to function similarly to Zhongli's, you would be mistaken. Instead, every time he takes damage, his seamless shield will heal your active character and deal dendro damage.
Taking a turn for the better.
If you were wondering where the spirit veins are, then here it is. Yeah, that little attack that is going bit far is his spirit veins. That's what spirit vein is. His element skill performs 2 tasks. It will first make 3 attacks on enemies before coming back to your character. Your skill damage will depend on his attack, and healing will depend on his maximum HP. It will heal 12.8% of his max HP again, max HP plus 1445. So if your max HP is 1000, it will add 1445 into it, and total of that 12.8% will be your healing. So that's how it goes. It will make 3 attacks before returning to heal your party members. If no nearby enemies are present, it will merely heal you. In simple terms, he will throw his snake soul, and which will cause some harm, before returning to you for healing you. This passive talent is very good. He is not healer, but sub DPS. Baizhu will receive a 20% healing bonus if the health of the active character is lower than 50%, and a 25% dendro bonus if it is higher than 50%. So actually you don't need to go for healing circlet and dendro damage goblet if you don't want. You can go with HP goblet and crit rate or damage circlet. This passive is good for your main DPS, but only if your main DPS is Hydro, Pyro, or Electro. Each additional 1000 of Baizhu's maximum health will boost Hydro and Pyro reaction damage by 2% and Electro damage by 0.8%. This effect lasts for 6 seconds, but it only functions up to 50,000 health. If your Baizhu have more health than 50,000, then it will not work. Now this is very good passive when Baizhu is in your team. Every time you pick something up, and if Baizhu thinks it's edible, it will heal you. So the first talent you need to level up is his element burst. That is the main source of his damage. After that you can go for his element skill, and then for his normal attack. Let's talk about constellation. C1 is very simple. At C1, he can throw his snake soul twice. That will help him with his energy recharge problems. And that's it. Your active character can activate Baizhu's elemental skill at C2. Baizhu doesn't need to be on the field either. And that attack's damage will depend on the maximum attack of Baizhu. It can deal 250% of Baizhu's maximum attack. This attack will work like his element skill. It will deal damage, and then return to you, and restore your health. You can activate this effect once every 5 seconds, and the healing will be equal to 20% of Baizhu's element skill healing. This is actually a good constellation, but I think they should give it at C1, since the snake damage is not that much. C3 will increase his elemental burst talent by 3 levels. C4 is also very simple but effective constellation. All members of the party will have 80 element mastery for 15 seconds after his elemental burst ends. And he has a 20-second cooldown on his elemental burst. There is a mere 5-second gap. Each member of your party will have 80 more element mastery. But to be completely honest, this is not much at all, given that weapon and artifact effects can increase your element mastery more. Therefore, having 80 element mastery is not at all significant. To be completely honest, I have no idea why this is at C4. Characters like Nahida and Kazuha, with 4-star weapons, can increase your element mastery more this at C0. C5 will increase his element skill talent level up by 3. Spirit Veins will do more damage at his C6. And it will be 8% of Baizhu's maximum health. When he uses his elemental skill, he can generate a seamless shield. Additionally, an active character can produce a seamless shield when they use Baizhu's elemental skill. However, it can only produce 1 shield at a time. Seamless shield lasts for 2.5 seconds. Therefore, your active character can create a seamless shield 2.5 seconds after Baizhu uses his element skill. Since active character can use Baizhu's element skill every 5 seconds, that is power of his C2. So this is how his C6 will work. Now let's talk about artifacts and weapons. I'll say it right here. He won't act as the main healer for the time being. This display solely features the DPS and sub-DPS Baizhu. We will start with 2-piece set that gives us more 20% HP. This is good set for support Baizhu. But let's see how it goes. As I said before, you don't have to go for healing bonus if you don't want. Because when anyone's HP is lower than 50%, Baizhu will get 20% healing bonus. Now what we have is over 31,500 HP Baizhu with good crit value. Despite the fact that I am only using Baizhu as the main DPS, Bloom is dealing good damage. If I use Baizhu as the support DPS and Ayato as the main DPS, it would be over sooner. But nevertheless, he caused a great deal of damage. Next set is Deepwood. It's best set for any Dendro support or DPS. Deepwood set is working better than 2-piece HP set for sure. But here is a thing. Even with all these 5-star characters, you can't really break this with shield. This is why Teyvat has its own lows. But this team is working very well together.
Let me scrap.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Now let's see what will happen if we use Kuki and team. Like I said, this set is working very well for him. It's actually doing more damage than 2-piece set. Because the reason for that is, we are not using Baizhu as healer, but we are using him as proper sub-DPS. Because of his kit, he doesn't really have to be healer. Even as sub-DPS, he can heal his team very well. And if we use teams with high rotation, he will not have energy recharge problems. But since his element burst has 20 seconds cooldown, you will have to wait for 5 seconds. But that is not big gap for sub DPS. Now let's try it with 2-piece HP and 2-piece of Deepwood. This is good combination for him. Better than 2 HP set.
Rain outlines your fate.
Taking a turn for the better.
The doctor was sealed.
Although he is dealing good damage, I believe the enemies on floor 12 have a great deal of health.
Mind the side effects.
Like, for the sake of Liyue, give this ill doctor a break.
No, my sword. I'll settle this.
This will be the last combination we will try for artifacts. So for artifacts, you can go with good crit values. Other than it, you need to use sands off HP. You can use Deepwood set for sub DPS, or you can use HP 2-piece set for healer Baizhu. It depends on your playing style. For the entire showcase, we used Widsith, and it did excellent damage. Additionally, you have the option of using Sacrificial or 3-star Thrilling Tales on him. It's an excellent weapon. There is no denying it. His signature weapon, nevertheless, is his best one. If you'd like, you can go for it. It's okay if you don't want to, because, for the time being, its sub-status won't benefit anyone besides Baizhu. Given that there isn't a catalyst character that needs HP at the moment, Jade Fall is only for him. Make use of it if you have one. If not, then there is no need to worry. There are many 4-star weapons you can use. Even 3-star. Now let's move to the last part of this video. What kind of teams Baizhu can buff or play in? Because he is a Dendro support and healer, he can only use Hydro, Pyro, and Electro. This first team is what I've already demonstrated, and it works really well. You can use other Hydro characters if you have, like Nilo, Child, or Yelan. But you don't really need another healer in party if you have a Baizhu, because his healing is fast and quick. Now this is like traditional Bloom team. 2 Dendro and 2 Hydro. Every member of this squad has a 4-star weapon, and they always work together like a charm. So it's free to play friendly team. On this team, Baizhu works as sub DPS, and main damage dealer is Alhaitham. On Ayato's place, you can use Mona or Yelan for more support damage. Alhaitham did really good damage. Next team is 2 Electro and 2 Dendro. I am using Kuki and Raiden. You can use any Electro character you have. And it's same for Traveler. You can use Nahida if you want. Damage is so-so. It's not low, but it's not very high as well. But if you remove Kuki with Xingqiu, then damage will become more than this. Next team is Burning Team. It does nothing but burn. I think that's why it's called Burning. If you want to use it, then why not? But I don't really recommend it. If you can go with Kuki or Raiden, and Bennett or Xiangling then Xingqiu, that team will work very well with Baizhu. I know this team is called Burning Team, but they are not doing much damage, and it's burning my heart. Well, maybe with Hu Tao and Diluc, we might see more damage. Nilo might be the ideal DPS for Baizhu's team in that case. The element burst of Baizhu is the cause of that, because it is Dendro and heals. And that's exactly what Nilo wants. However, now that Kaveh is present, you can use him as part of a team with a Baizhu and Bloom combination. This is a fantastic squad once more. Although you can use Baizhu as a sub DPS if you prefer, Raiden Shogun can deal a lot of damage as the main damage dealer. These 4 characters are dual-purpose DPS and sub DPS characters. It is a very strong team as a result. I'm only using Baizhu at the moment to see what he can do as a support damage dealer. So you don't really have to build him as a healer, because he will heal you anyway. He can serve as a sub damage dealer at C0. I don't think you need to go for his constellation, but if you want to go, then try to get him to C2. That will make him better. And now you better subscribe to me, or else I will send Hu Tao to bury you. And even Dr. Baizhu won't say a thing. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe so that you can become my 10th subscriber.